Then let's start. My name is Joe Ando, and I'm with Tryalogue Education. I am the sales director, and today I will be talking about the new Penguin graded readers and the nonfiction seed learning readers. First off, Penguin readers, and below you'll see the official website of the Penguin graded readers. First, a little bit of a history, particularly in Japan. I'm sure this is true internationally, but Penguin Readers has been around for quite a long time, the brand anyway. Years ago, you'll see at the left is the original Alice in Wonderland cover. Well, I think it's the original, but it has the branding of the original Penguin Readers. Then about 10 years ago, Penguin Readers, the brand itself with the name, Pearson had the rights, and they changed the brand to the Pearson English Readers. And then in 2019, the new Penguin Readers was published, and now they have 100 and there is now 139 titles available. So in 2.5 years, I guess, quite a lot of titles. Regarding Penguin Readers, it's essentially published by Penguin Random House, one of the world's largest trade book publishers. So in that sense, they have access to quite a lot of titles which are contemporary, both fiction and nonfiction. And some of the authors, Roald Dahl, John Le Carre, Jojo Moyes. Some of you may have actually read their books, not their graded readers, but the actual books themselves, the original. The series is for learners of English, and they're published at 8 levels from pre-A1 starter to B2, level 7. And each level corresponds to the Common European Framework reference, the CEFAR in Japan, and activities are aligned to international exams such as the PET, CAT, FCE, CAE, CPA, and TOEFL. A quick overview of the series. You'll see that there's 4 different types of graded readers or titles. One is contemporary fiction, one is classics, one is nonfiction, and the other is graphic novels. The graphic novels are in the first 2 levels, I believe. And each reader includes vocabulary and grammar activities, exercises, glossary, discussion ideas and projects, access to extra resources, as well as audio download and digital book. Here, I've just taken, a number of Penguin Reader covers. And if you were to not know that these were graded readers, you'd think that these were just covers of bestsellers that you would find in a bookstore in, overseas or in Japan, your major, bookstore like Kinokuniya or Junkudo or Maruzen. On the right, you'll see, this is just, I was going to use a photo of a bookstore shelf with Penguin books or Penguin Random House books, but I thought this was kind of interesting for us. This is actually a vending machine in the UK. Penguin Random House was doing a campaign, I think last year, and they were setting up these vending machines at stations where there was no bookstore, I think, or something like that. But if you look very, very closely, there's a one title in the vending machine, and it's 1984. It's on the top left-hand corner. Take a look at the cover, and then here is the graded reader. It's almost exactly the same cover, except for the fact that the very top, you'll see the Penguin Readers logo. So it's essentially, it's a little bit different than some of the other publishers' graded readers series, as Penguin Random House is able to access their backlist and then essentially publish graded readers for learners of English and make them more accessible. In regards to level, you'll see on the left the CEFAR level, or the Common European Framework level, pre-A1 to B2. The story word count starts from 400, and at level 7, it's about 26,000. Head words, 350, and at level 7, 2,500. And this level chart is also in the back cover, is printed on the back cover of every graded reader. So it's quite easy for students and teachers, particularly if they're at a bookstore. And I mentioned bookstores, and I'll talk about that a little later, but in Japan. But yes, once you start, your level, you should be able to find exactly what level of book that you will be able to read. For Japanese teachers, I've put in a slide which is in Japanese, but essentially the two things that I've added is the grammar structures in Japanese. As you probably know, in Japan, grammar structure is very, very important in Japan, and grammar itself, I think. And then on the right side is the YL, or the Japan grading method that was started by the Japan Extensive Reading Association. So you'll see that there. Okay. Next, a little bit about the Penguin Readers. Each Penguin Reader begins with a short introduction and some before reading questions to help orient the students towards the subject matter of the story or text. Also, any difficult vocabulary is explained in a picture dictionary at the lower levels and a glossary at the back of the book. The new vocabulary is recycled in the text where possible to increase exposure. And you'll see, of course, with some of the words that are highlighted, particularly at the beginning of the book. Once you know the some of the vocabulary that was highlighted is read a number of times, it becomes just like any other non-highlighted or word vocabulary. Comprehension questions directly follow the text and test the student's understanding of each chapter. When the students have finished reading the entire book, there is a set of questions to test their understanding of the text as a whole. Exercise section includes grammar, vocabulary, or comprehensive-based questions dedicated to most chapters. At the end of the book, students are given extension work in the form of written projects and in-depth essay questions. So the graded readers can be used as class readers. One title over summer holidays, or the winter holidays, or the spring holidays, or whatever. And there are activities so that teachers can check to see if these students actually read the book and understand the actual story. There's also audio and additional resources, and they can be downloaded at the penguinreaders.co.uk site. There's a handbook as well. As I mentioned, the audio is downloadable for free. You can see that on the right. You can download lesson plans as well as the audio recording, which you can download as that MP3 data. And on the left, it says unlock book. So each book has a code, access code, and if you enter the access code, you'll be able to access the digital version of the book. And once you accumulate a number of books, it looks a little bit like a library of covers. And we have 2 pages from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. The reason I decided to use these 2 pages is if you take a look at the illustration on the right, that is the original illustration of the Penguin Random House version. So not only is the story, not only is Penguin Random House able to access the stories for contemporary titles, but also for classics that they have published the illustrations as well. And some of those titles that have the original illustrations are The Little Prince, Roald Dahl's Boy, and Wonder. And all three of these, I guess it's coincidence, are bestsellers in Japan in regards to, what is it, junior high school and high school adoptions, oddly enough. And one of the reasons why that is the case is that, let's take a look at one of the titles, Wonder. Take a look at on the left is what is the actual original version of Wonder. Take a look at the story word count, 73,053 words in total. That's a lot of words to read, a lot of pages. And the for Japanese teachers, they'll understand this, but the YL level is 5.5, so it's just, up there. And if you take a look at the right, that would be the Penguin graded reader version, and the story word count is 9,146, and the YL level is from 3.0 to 3.2. Now, why I mention this is that before joining Tryalogue, I was working at a bookseller, and at a number of high schools that had intensive English programs, or students who had come back from overseas, and their English level was fairly high. Wonder was a very, very popular title in the book lists. In other words, they've got the text, they have the students read a number of books, and in the no, very few graded readers, lower junior high schools graded readers possibly, but once they got into high school, the original versions. Now, with the graded reader of this particular book, very, very popular in Japan as the original, but very inaccessible to regular junior high school and high school students. But now that it's a graded reader, it's more than accessible to both junior high and high school students. And I think that's very, very important in terms of, eliciting interest in not the book itself, but eliciting interest in reading more, as the story in itself is, it might be a title that we should all read. I think that's the special aspect of the Penguin Reader series. Contemporary titles that have been, ordinarily inaccessible, but now accessible to junior high school students and high school students, as well as university and adults who have lower level English language skills. In addition, Penguin Readers also has titles of nonfiction, and some of the nonfiction are original nonfiction. This is our bestseller in regards to the nonfiction series, original anyway. Next, just going through each level, the starter level, as I mentioned, the starter level has a number of, most of these titles are graphic novels. Level 1, in this particular level, very popular titles are plastic, environmental issues, and Taylor Swift, oddly enough. In level 2, we have Roald Dahl, and of course, the Little Prince. But one of the books that I'm interested in seeing how well it does is Tracy Beaker. And the reason why Tracy Beaker is of interest to me is that this series has always been on many of the JERA book lists for school libraries, I believe. And so as a graded reader, perhaps there'll be more fans of this series once they read the first book. In level 3, there's Wonder, and I believe that another popular title is Climate Change. Climate Change. And as you can see, there is a couple nonfiction original titles at the very bottom. I believe that is Michelle Obama and Stephen Hawkins. Oh, and Elon Musk as well. And that is not an original, but yes, a regularly published title. Level 4, you'll find the most popular title in this series, in this level for adoption is oddly enough Jojo Moyes' Me Before You, which is a title which I was not aware of, and before joining Tryalogue and working with the Penguin, but apparently it's a story that what is it? I'll read the back of the book. When Lou Clark loses her job at a cafe, she's given a job caring for Will Trainer. Will was disabled in a motorcycle accident. Lou knows she needs the money. Will knows that his accident took away his love of life. Neither of them know that they're going to change each other's lives forever. So a life story. And then level 5, I think this is Jean Le Carré title. And then most popular is Freddie Mercury. And then we go to level 6, and anything here that I should mention, I guess Slumdog Millionaire, and I think a couple of movies as well. Girl on the Train, which I read as a graded reader, but the movie version was the graded reader was set in the UK. The movie film version was set in I think New York. And then of course the talented Mr. Ripley. And then lastly, level 7, I think 1984, I think is a highlight there. And these are what is it? The covers of the new titles from 2023 February. So again, if you take a look at the covers, you'll see a couple of original nonfiction titles: Nelson Mandela and Steve Jobs, and Jacqueline Wilson, another series that is very popular in Japan for school libraries, and I think a movie, Brooklyn. Yes. Now, in Japan, every year we create a graded readers catalog for each of the 3 publishers that we represent. And the Penguin Readers Catalog, here is the cover. And if you take a look, I took 2 pages of the catalog, and you'll see that you'll have almost all the information you need to decide on whether or not you can actually read the book in terms of level, the YL level, the Common European Framework level. And we've also added the Lexile level, which is a popular in the US, and the word count. And the description of the stories in both English and in Japanese. And you can download this. The link is at the very bottom at www.trylogue.co.jp/catalog. Okay, we will now go to our next publisher, which is Seed Learning. And for Seed Learning, I will be talking about 2 of their recent series, and they are the Culture Read series. And for this series, you'll see below the level, there's 4 levels. Basic vocabulary goes from 500 to 1,250, the word count 400 to 1,000. And the ERF scale is high beginner to early intermediate. The Common European Framework level is from A1 to B1. Now, what is it? I talked with the Penguin readers a lot about what is it? I showed you a lot of covers, and I'm sure you've heard the old saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover." But if you take a look at the Culture Food Readers Food series, you don't really actually need to judge the book by its cover. You just have to look at the cover and decide whether or not. I'm sure the students will decide whether or not they want to actually open the book. And I think that's quite something to think about, because this is apparently for school libraries the most popular series recently. Again, there's a link at the very bottom. This goes directly to the publisher's page on this series. And on the right, you'll be able to see that there are three icons. The icons are MP3 files that you can download. And let me see here. I'll activity pack, and there's a PowerPoint as well. And the PowerPoint is actually used by teachers as opposed to the students. It helps, what is it? You can use that as an on a IWB, is it? Interactive whiteboard, to talk about each individual text and go through the background, etc. There are four levels. In each level, there are five titles. And on the right, you'll see the pages from the books themselves. You'll not only see beautiful pictures of food, which obviously will make everyone hungry, but you'll also see, for example, with foods from India, the location, the history of Indian cuisine. At level two, you'll see on the right foods from the United States pages, and of course, very interesting. What is it? Map of the United States, and you'll see, I think, in big bold capital letters, a pulled pork, which is a favorite of mine. But you can't. It's you can get pulled pork now in Tokyo, more in more locations. But 20 years ago, yes, very difficult. So nowadays, yes, a lot of these foods you can actually eat in Japan. Although I think looking at level two, foods from South Africa might be still a little bit difficult, but who knows? Level three, you've got foods from Germany and Japan. And level four, we have foods from Australia, Brazil, Greece, and Russia and Vietnam. Again, I think it's very important that what is it? Eliciting interest for what is it? Students to actually read a lot. I think if they are interested in the topic, particularly food is one such topic. I think it goes a long way in getting them to just sit down and pick a book out and actually read. Next, Culture Read Holidays. This series is also four levels, and five books titles each in each level. You'll see the downloadable resources at the very left-hand side. There's the MP3 files, there's activity pack. Again, there's the PowerPoint and lesson plans. Again, the PowerPoint is for teachers. If it's about Valentine's Day, if it's about Valentine's Day, it'll be a PowerPoint on what is it, the history of of Valentine's Day activities as well that they can do together in the classroom on a interactive whiteboard. There are also video supplements available on YouTube, and all of this can be accessed at the link at the very bottom below, seedlearning.com at /CRH/. Okay, and in terms of levels, level one, we've got Valentine's Day, Chinese New Year, Easter, Thanksgiving. Level two, Holly, the Lantern Festival, New Year's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Halloween. You'll see on the right the couple of pages from inside the book. And one of the things I wanted to talk about regarding this particular series, holidays, is that unlike food, which I think most students, and whether or not they're junior high school students, high school students, or university adults, will look at it and say, ah, I know this. But for holidays, it's not so simple. If you take a look at level two in particular, New Year's Day, Halloween, well, if we take Japan, yes, we do know that, and we can imagine what goes on internationally. But St. Patrick's Day is, of course, a little bit different. Of course, unless you're Irish or you live in the States. But the Lantern Festival and Holly is two holidays which I would not know about in depth. And yes, would I pick up the book and take a look at it, to pick up the book and read it? Yes, I would actually, particularly to, what is it? learn more about other cultures. And I think that's quite true with students, particularly if they are able to read some of the titles in the same level. And if you take a look at level 3, it's the same as well. The ice festival is very, very interesting. I wonder what country has an ice festival and the dragon boat festival. I could imagine that one, but yes, Oktoberfest. I can only imagine beer with that one, but it's just not beer. It's a cultural German cultural holiday. And level 4, we've got Carnival, Hanukkah, and a couple of other holidays, which we should all perhaps take a look and perhaps read the readers. Guy Fawkes Day, Nadam Festival, and I think Songkran is those holidays. Okay, going to the catalog again. This is the Seed Learning Readers Catalog. Again, you can access the catalog at the link below. You'll see that you'll find all the information you need to decide whether the book is right for you, including a description in both English and Japanese. And the the holidays and two other nonfiction series from Seed Learning, which I wasn't able to talk about today, is the Future Jobs series and the World History Reader series. I believe the World History Reader series, Rob Waring worked on this series for Seed Learning. And again, I think for students picking up one title, essentially this series is very, very popular at libraries, school libraries, particularly the world history readers. And that's something which is what is it, a little bit of a surprise since it was published. It was the first of the series that was published. It was published, I think, 5 years ago now. And one other thing about the catalogs, the readers' catalogs, and I think what is it? The Penguin Readers. For the Penguin Readers, you'll be able to find most of the Penguin Readers. One second. You'll be able to find most of the Penguin Readers in major bookstores in Japan. For the catalogs, both the Penguin Reader catalog and the Seed Learning catalog, you'll also be able to find at most of the bookstores in Japan in the ELT graded readers section. Okay, in regard to the series, the Seed Learning series, this is the level chart, and you'll see the food series, level 1, the holiday series, level 1, base vocabulary about 500 and goes to B1 level. The future job series starts about level 1, 700 basic vocabulary, A2 level, and then goes up to level 4, upper B1, whereas the world history readers, level 1 starts at A2, mid A2, upper A2 plus, I guess, and goes up to B2 level 6. Okay, I think we zoomed through this, and I think I still have a little bit of time left, but if you have any questions, please contact me at contact@tryalogue.co.jp. Okay. Any questions, comments? I think I finished quite fast than I thought. You have a question?
Yeah, Joe, just curious, what new things are coming out? Any idea for Seed?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe they're coming out with a couple of new reader series, but not quite sure. I think one of them is classical art, possibly. Yes, yes, and maybe a couple of others. I think I should know more in next month. I'll be going to Korea and visiting the publishers, Compass and Seed. Then.
Great.
I think I don't know if is anyone around that David Paul.
Yeah, I'm here. So
All right.
anybody, yeah, if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat.
Oh, right, chat. I should access chat. Oh, I should mention that since Paul at X Reading is here, the as far as seed learning is concerned, there I believe that the World History Readers, all of the titles are on your site, as well as the Future Jobs.
Yes, yeah, both. The world history readers are really popular.
They are indeed very, very good series. And I think one of the big, what is it? The big things about that series is a lot of titles and a lot of areas that the series covers, I think.
Well, there's a lot of history in the world. So,
Yes, that is true.
yeah, they're very good. Yeah, at first I didn't like them that much, but I've grown to really, appreciate the information they provide students with about various historical topics. Some of them are biographies about famous people like Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
And who's trying to maybe I think there's one maybe about Ben Franklin, and then there's wars and historical periods, empires. Yeah, it's a really good series. And the future job readers are also quite interesting. I think a little bit higher level.
Yes, 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 yes. I think as a well, I'm not quite sure if I would call myself a native English speaker reader, but I guess I am because even though I was born in Japan. Um, it's really actually quite what is it? You can go through with some of the graded readers, particularly the seed graded readers, because they're fairly short and actually learn a lot. It's a little bit of it like reading Wikipedia in some
Yeah,
sense. Yes.
exactly. Yeah, it really is with a lot more pictures.
Any other questions? Let's see what time it is. It's still I still have quite a few I still have 4 minutes left.
There's a question in the chat.
Oh, let me check the chat. Yes, let's check chat. All right, let me. That's a good question about the question is I see that some of the readers have activities and such. I'm wondering how people feel about using activities with extensive reading. That's a good question. I think with extensive reading, I don't really think that I think what is it? Generally speaking, I think teachers want students to continue to the next book and to read a lot. I think the only reason that they might actually have students do the activities is to actually check to see if the students read the book. Like, for example, I think X reading and Paul, we've talked about this quite a lot, but I think particularly with schools that have or classes where teachers have a lot of students, um, you can't check every student to see if they're actually reading a lot of titles, unless of course you have some sort of way in checking on whether they actually read the book, which is one of the reasons why they might actually have issue activities.
Yeah. Yeah, so next reading we have the quizzes. I think Dorothy made a good point when she spoke earlier that some students prefer to have discussions and things like that, but when you're teaching a class of freshman English with 30 students and have 4 different sections, it's not as realistic. So the quizzes are the easiest and fastest way to check if students have read.
Yes, yes.
And plus we track the reading time and reading speed, so we can tell if students are genuinely reading or just flipping through the book.
Exactly, exactly. I've got another question here. It says, is it for me actually? How do you feel about AI writing stories and articles? Are you using it for new books? No, we are not using it for new books. At least not the publishers that we work with. But again, it's possible, I suppose. I have, this whole AI thing is, who knows what the boundaries are in terms of what can or cannot be done. But I'm sure that yeah, I think it's possible to, given that graded readers have certain parameters, and if the AI follows those parameters, yeah, I suppose they can write a graded reader. Does that answer your question? How do I feel about it though? Wow, I'm not sure how I feel about AI and all this chat GPT stuff in terms of education. Yeah, yeah, and very, very difficult.
a whole topic for another conference.
Yes, yes, yes. Right, yeah. Okay, flipping is a problem. I agree. Yeah. Well, that's about I think extensive reading. I think it depends. I mean, reading a lot means going to the next book. Not necessarily going to the activities, I think.
Okay, Joe. Sorry.
Yes, yes. A
Okay,
bunch of
sorry.
AI stuff now in chat.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David.